Hello, I would like to take just a couple of minutes to go over the pressure differential warning actuator in a 1977 MG Midget. I have spent a couple weeks trying to figure out what parts I need, which sensor, which shuttle valve, what O-rings, etc, etc, etc to rebuild my valve body. I've bought some parts that I don't need, but that's why I'm wanting to take a few minutes to make this video and explain everything in detail. There are a few nice articles that I found online, there are a few videos, but I wanted to make one video and summarize everything: the sensors, the shuttle, the valve itself. So if you're watching this video, you already know how the system works, but just real quick, this system is designed to alert you by turning on a red light on the dashboard if you have a brake malfunction. So the two brake lines, front and rear, feed from the top, putting pressure inside on the valves, keeping the little shuttle centered. If there is any loss of pressure in the front or in the rear, those shuttle valves will slide left or right, depending on which type that you have, which I'll go over it in just a little bit. So that's how the system works. Now, about the valves, there are two different types of valves. Mine is a 77 MG Midget, and I have one line coming out of the side going to the front left from here. The bottom one goes to the front right. The bottom right end goes towards the rear, and then it splits into the left or right. Now, some of the older models have this type of valve where the end, unlike mine, it's capped off. So here you have the front brake line coming out and then separating to the left or to the right lately. This older valve has a different sensor. It's a shorter sensor with this type of shuttle. The way that this works is, when it's centered in the middle, the valve sits right there into the little notch. And as pressure is applied and the valve moves due to loss of pressure on the opposite brake line, this little incline here pushes up the pin, which makes a connection inside, signaling on the dashboard that there is a failure in the brake system. The newer version has this much longer valve, and you have the sensor that has, substantially more tread to it, and it works a little bit different. So let me come closer here. So this pin, it's always pressed in, okay? And when the valve or the shuttle moves, that pin expands and it goes into that little gate right here. However, in order for you to recenter the shuttle after the problem has been fixed, you will have to unscrew the sensor to allow for that shuttle to be repositioned, and then you would install the sensors back on. In a way, I think that the older system may be a little bit easier. I don't know, but it just seems that way, just because this can kind of move back and forth and it can reposition itself in the middle versus having to take the sensor off. I may be wrong, but that's just, my opinion. So let me just show you the difference, how you can tell what's in your car. So if you look at the valve kind of from this angle, the newer version with the longer sensor, and by the way, these sensors are about $10, $12 versus the older style are $55 to $60. I'm not sure why the difference. It's the same principles, but supply and demand, I guess. So anyways, there is about, let's see, There's about let's say 6 millimeters or a quarter of an inch more of this part sticking out. So this is the new version. It will be the spring shuttle with the $10 sensor. Okay, the older version, this quarter inch right here, it's missing. It's all flush, as you can see. It's all flush. That's the old system. It has the cap. It has this shorter sensor with this type of shuttle. Okay. Here's again a picture of the sensors, longer and shorter. There's the cap that goes at the end. And here's the measurements. So the longer sensor, it's about 16 millimeters or 5/10 of an inch. The shorter sensor, it's 5 millimeters or a quarter of an inch. So hopefully this will help you figure out what parts you need. You don't have to buy the wrong parts. And yeah, so if anybody has suggestions, if I missed to answer any questions, please feel free to comment below. And yeah, let's help everybody that is working on their British car and make it easier. Thanks again. Take care.